Hello everyone, Alex Angulo here, and welcome to the podcast that I've been wanting to do for a little bit, the FBS preview show, as I like to call it, where, excuse me, the FBS is the top tier level of football in NCAA Division 1, because FCS, well, it's good, and sometimes it's better. So there is so much to cover. I hope you're ready. If you're listening to a card, this is perfect. Here we fucking go. Okay, so rule changes. You have allowing players to fair catch the ball inside the 25, be awarded a touchback where it would be at the 25. Then of course, all this stuff. Excuse me. I spoke about the redshirt rules, and I spoke about Idaho and Liberty, but New Mexico State is going FBS independent. Now, what's the difference between an independent and a conference, okay? So, a conference from schedule, basically, you have, like, a set amount of games you can schedule, but you can, basically, dare I say it, play whatever you want. Play whoever you want, okay. So there are a couple of headlines. Obviously, if you know, John Shatner, Papa John's Stadium is now Cardinal Stadium. Everyone knows about Urban Meyer. And recently, Maryland placed head coach D.J. Durkin on paid administrative leave during Jordan McNair's death. Okay. So here are some of the Week 0 games. You have the Dukes going up against UMass, Prairie View A&M going up against Rice, Wyoming going up against New Mexico State, and Hawaii playing Colorado State. And then some of these big Week 1 games, you have teams such as Auburn going up against Washington, Tennessee going up against West Virginia, Alabama going up against Louisville, LSU going up against Miami, and Ole Miss going up against Texas Tech. So Auburn, Washington, and the Chick-fil-A kickoff game at Mercedes-Benz. The Belk kickoff game, Tennessee and West Virginia at the Bank of America Stadium after the controversial HB2 was repealed, I believe. The Camping World kickoff, Alabama and Louisville, Camping World Stadium. Advocare Classic, you have LSU and Miami Hurricanes at AT&T Stadium. And then Ole Miss and Texas Tech at Energy Stadium, which should be a Texas Tech. Alright, so if you are new to Division 1 FBS football, strap in. It is time for me to tell you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. A little bit of a shout out to my friends at Treble Chin Entertainment. Hope you watch them on YouTube or Twitch. The American Athletic Conference has Cincinnati, Connecticut, East Carolina, South Florida, Temple, and national champion UCF. Yes, that's right. I go by the Coley Matrix along with a lot of other things because that's what gave them the national championship. Then you have Houston, Memphis, Navy, who I'm going to be covering a lot this season, Southern Methodist, and UCF is University of Central Florida, Tulane, and Tulsa. Of course, Josh Heupel, I believe, will be going. And then national champion according to the Coley Matrix. And of course, it says here on January 9th, 2018, UCF was declared national champion by the Coley Matrix, an NCAA recognized major selector of FBS national champions. So you know what that means. A lot of people are saying, no, Alabama's the true champion. Others are saying, no, UCF can claim it. Well, I say if UCF claims it, who else wants to claim it? Then I'm going to go Power 5 first. That was the American Athletic. You have Conference USA. We got Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Marshall, Middle Tennessee, Old Dominion, Western Kentucky. In the East Division, and by the way, the first teams like Cincinnati, Connecticut, that's the East. Houston, Memphis, that's the West. Conference USA, East Division, you have Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Marshall, Middle Tennessee, Old Dominion, and Western Kentucky. And then in the West Division, you have Louisiana Tech, North Texas, Rice, Southern Miss, University, Alabama, Birmingham. Oh my goodness, I just saw a little chunk of water kind of like come flying out of my mouth into the thing, I believe. It got stuck in here, thank God. I hope don't lose this laptop. But yeah. Then you got Louisiana Tech in the West Division, University of Texas El Paso, and University of Texas San Antonio. The Mid-American Conference, you have Akron, Bowling Green, Buffalo, Kent State, Miami, and Ohio in the East. Ball State, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, Holy Toledo, and Western Michigan, who could have claimed themselves as national champions in 2016, in the West Division. Wait, yeah, they lost the Cotton Bowl Classic to Wisconsin. The Mountain West and the Mountain Division, you have Air Force, Boise State, Colorado State, New Mexico, Utah State, and Wyoming. And then in the West Division, you have Fresno State, Hawaii, Nevada, San Diego State, San Jose State, and University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And then the Sun Belt in the East, you have Appalachian State, who I said in the last podcast defeated Michigan, Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Troy. And in the West, you have Arkansas State, Louisiana, Louisiana Monroe, South Alabama, and Texas State. Now, the Power 5. In the Atlantic, you have Boston College, Clemson, Florida State, Louisville, North Carolina State, Syracuse, and Wake Forest. Coastal, you have Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, the U, as they're known as, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Virginia, and Virginia Tech. And then in the Big Ten, in the East, you have Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Rutgers. And then in the West, you have Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Purdue, and Wisconsin. Oh my goodness gracious. Whew. The Big 12, you have Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, TCU standing for Texas Christian University, and West Virginia. And then the Pac-12, you have California, Oregon State, Stanford, Washington State in the North. And then in the South, you have Arizona State, Colorado, UCLA, USC, and Utah. And then in the overrated SEC, because yes, that is what I'm saying, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt in the East. Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Louisiana State, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M, standing for Texas A&M. I don't know what it means. Probably agricultural and mechanical. In the West. And then the 6th Division 1, like normally you have 4, which still is good, but you have Army, BYU, Liberty, New Mexico State, Notre Dame, and UMass. So the teams that are not allowed into the teams that are disqualified from postseason play, well, so far you got nobody in the American Athletic, ACC, Big Ten, but maybe Ohio State may do it because of the whole Urban Meyer situation. You have Baylor, maybe out. Nobody in the Big 12, Conference USA, the MAC, the Mountain West, Pac-12. Then the SEC is where you get that first sort of idea, where Ole Miss is ineligible due to the whole situation with Hugh Freeze, and then Liberty can't do it because of the FCS to FBS transition rules. So, yeah, that's about it. Okay, so let us talk about, dare I say it. So, let's talk about the bowl games. So let's see who won each conference. You have UCF, obviously, in that thriller against Memphis. Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Florida Atlantic, headed up by Lane Kiffin, Toledo, Boise State, USC, and Georgia. And I think rightfully so, USC were shut out of the Players of the Year. And then Appalachian State and Troy defeated shared the Sun Belt title. And so let's go to each game. Okay then. Oh yeah. So a couple of big things. A couple of big coaching changes. You got Chip Kelly at UCLA. But let's talk about the bowl schedule, okay? Oh, and a pair of very, very, very important FBS dates. You have October 30th is when the committee will drop the first set of rankings for the CFP. Who's gonna get into the who's gonna get into the where and all that stuff, to the semifinals, and then the the December 2nd is the selection day. So, a couple teams to look out for. I say look out for UCF. In the American Athletic, say look out for UCF, and maybe teams such as Navy and Memphis and Houston. They're usually good. In the ACC, it's the usual. Same for the Big 10, Big 12, Conference USA. I would say in a Conference USA last year, it wasn't as wide open as I thought it would be, but I'd say look out for Florida Atlantic, North Texas, who are doing surprisingly well. Teams such as Florida International, Marshall, UAB, who came back after a couple of years, and then Southern Miss. And then in the MAC, look out for Akron and Toledo, maybe Central Michigan, and Ohio. Of course, you can hear all the Power 5 stuff, but I'm covering the Group of 5. Then you have look out for Boise State in the Mountain West, Fresno State, San Diego State, and then the Sun Belt, Troy, Appalachian State, Arkansas State, and Georgia State, New Mexico State, and then UTEP, the team that they just got their asses handed to them last year. They couldn't win a fucking game for their lives. Alright, and so that's about it. So, obviously, some of the bowl games to watch, you have of course, as mentioned, some ineligible teams are Liberty due to the whole, you're coming from the FCS, so yeah, and all that stuff. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm just, I'm not taking up much time. Not taking up as much time as I thought. But, here are the bowl games to look out for, along with a couple of my personal favorites that I would love to, I would just absolutely... I don't know what to say, but you got the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl as the semifinals. So the New Year's Eve 6, you have the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl, the two semifinal games. Then you have New Year's Day, the Fiesta Bowl, the Rose Bowl, one of my favorite games, and the Sugar Bowl, and that's about it. But here are a couple of bowl games that I think you could check out, either because I like it, or because, well, yeah, long story short. Alright. So, as usual, I usually tell people, okay, you want to get into a bowl game, Try this out. The Gildan New Mexico Bowl, which usually kicks off the bowl season, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN at Dreamstyle Stadium. The Las Vegas Bowl, which is the only game on ABC, but it pits the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. And then the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. If you have not seen Boise State all season, it's held at their stadium. The makers wanted Bahamas Bowl at Thomas Robinson Stadium in Nassau, Bahamas. The Potato Bowl pitting the MAC and the Mountain West, while the Bahamas Bowl pits a Conference USA team versus the MAC. And then you'll notice something interesting. Okay, so I'm going to read off the dates for bowls. The Birmingham Bowl, SEC A8 American Athletic, Big 12 American Athletic, and the Armed Forces Bowl, Dollar General Bowl. You got the MAC and the Sun Belt. Hopefully no one steals anything this time. And then one of my personal favorites that I usually associate with Christmas, the Hawaii Bowl, Conference USA Mountain West. The thing about it is that it starts off December 15th with 5 bowl games, and then it takes 2 days off because December 16th and 17th are Sunday and Monday respectively. And I can't tell you that I can't tell you anything else except, oh my goodness gracious, 5 bowls, but then the NFL takes place, and then the Boca Raton Bowl, the Frisco Bowl. Oh well, Hawaii Bowl. I'm gonna say this. It's one of my favorite bowls. It's because I usually associate it with Christmas, and I usually don't get to watch it, but this year, thanks to a lot of thanks to the scheduling, I get to watch the Hawaii Bowl maybe from start to finish. So I think that day, because it starts at 7 p.m. East, like 7:30 p.m., I'm probably gonna go out, grab some dinner, either McDonald's or breakfast. Either McDonald's or Jack in the Box. So basically, there's a 3-day break because of the NFL and the NBA, and then you rejoin everyone at the Heart of Dallas Bowl, the Cactus Bowl, which will be at Chase Field, Big 12, Pac-12, and then the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, Big 10 and ACC, and then the Alamo Bowl, which is a pretty cool one, and then Camping World Bowl, I believe is where the Miami Hurricanes play. Let me see. No, I was close, but it's not. Oh well. Then you got the San Diego Credit County. This is hard to say. You have the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. If you haven't seen that, that's exclusively on FS1. Because all games are either on ESPN or FS1. This is formerly Qualcomm. And now it goes through December 31st. The Belk Bowl, and then the Military Bowl, the Hyundai Sun Bowl, my personal favorite, and then you got the Outback Bowl and the Citrus Bowl, and then the All-Star Games, the East-West Shrine Game, NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, and then the Senior Bowl. But let me talk about some of my favorite bowl games of all time. Because yes, I do have some favorites. Yes, I absolutely love a couple of these bowls. So let me just talk about a couple of bowl games, because I know a lot of you are probably like, you're rattling on for too long. I do not care. I love some of these bowls because, oh my god, you got the Peach Bowl. You've got the Orange Bowl, obviously, the Cotton Bowl. Even though I don't like the Cowboys, I actually love the the way the stadium is. The fact that like 100,000 people could get in to watch it. So let me talk about that. So last year the Orange Bowl. Let me see here. The Cotton Bowl, you had Ohio State defeating USC 24-7. Two schools dipped in controversy. And then the Fiesta Bowl. My goodness gracious. How many of you remember that Fiesta Bowl from 2007? Or 2007 between Boise State and Oklahoma. And the Fiesta Bowl, you had Penn State defeating Washington 35-28 in a close game. That's one of my favorites. And then the Rose Bowl, it was the semifinal game. You had Georgia defeating Oklahoma in double overtime, 54-48. That's one of my personal favorites, okay? Because that is pretty cool. So last year's New Mexico Bowl, the Gildan New Mexico Bowl, you had Marshall defeating Colorado State 31-28. And then usually the Cherry Bundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, Florida Atlantic defeating Akron 50-3. The DXL Frisco Bowl saw Louisiana Tech defeating SMU 51-10. The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl saw Temple defeat FIU 28-3. Bahamas Bowl had Ohio defeating walloping UAB 41-6. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Wyoming won 37-14. The Dollar General Bowl had Appalachian State blanking Toledo 34-0. Hawaii Bowl had Fresno State winning 33-27. And then the Pinstripe Bowl had Iowa winning 27-20 over Boston College. I'm just rattling off a lot of bowls, aren't I? I'm sorry, but I just rattle off those bowls quicker. And then you have the Camping World, the Valero Alamo Bowl. TCU defeated Stanford 39-37. And then you had the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Michigan State won 42-17 over Washington State. Then the Sun Bowl, North Carolina State defeated Arizona State 52-31. And I wanted North Carolina State to win that one. And then a couple more games, and then the Outback Bowl. South Carolina defeated Michigan, and yada, yada, yada. So why do I like some of these bowl games? Well, it's simple. I can associate a lot of these bowl games with certain events. For example, the Sun Bowl will be at, the Sun Bowl is a New Year's Eve exclusive. And, well, long story short, it's just one of my favorites, okay? I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep rattling off about, like, the Sun Bowl, the Rose Bowl. And I've visited the Rose Bowl in person, and it's really nice, okay? Okay, then, so, with that, I'm just going to end this podcast right here, because I'm just going to keep rambling for hours if I don't stop myself from talking about the Sun Bowl and the Rose Bowl. Sorry, I'm just kind of reaching over to grab something. So that's about it. I will see you guys next time.